AITA for refusing to cook for my pregnant SIL and telling her she has a husband who could do it. I, 41-year-old male, am a cook, and I refused to cook for my pregnant SIL and told her clearly that her husband should take on this job because he is also a cook. Background: I have been working as a cook at a famous restaurant in San Bernardino for 20 years. I am a seasoned veteran of the American culinary and serve as the head chef at the restaurant. 6 years ago, a new cook named Julien, now 29-year-old male, joined our team. I was a staunch believer in the classic American diner experience. However, Chef Julien, a fresh graduate from a prestigious culinary school, was eager to shake up the menu with bold flavors and international twists. The restaurant was gearing up for the 4th of July, planning a menu that would celebrate the nation's diversity. I proposed a BBQ brisket, paying homage to the heartland. However, Julien suggested a Korean BBQ burger, a blend of East and West. I saw Julien's idea as a departure from the restaurant's roots, so I strongly disagreed with him. Our differences soon turned into a dispute. However, the owner of the restaurant stepped in to mediate. He appreciated Julien's creativity, but emphasized the importance of maintaining our customers' expectations for classic American dishes. He also promised that the restaurant would introduce the Korean BBQ burger and some other dishes after Independence Day, and would feature a special dish of Julien's choice next year. At that time, Julien agreed, but after a week, he resigned from his job, saying he was not meant to be there. After leaving the job, he worked for 4 years for another restaurant, and now he owns his own restaurant. No doubt Julien is a good cook, but I think he is a haughty and egoistic person, and it is challenging to have a balanced relationship with him. Around 4 years ago, my sister-in-law, Evelyn, 28-year-old female, entered into a relationship with Julien. After dating for about a year, she decided to introduce him to her family. Let me clarify that at that time, Evelyn didn't know that I worked with Julien and had a fight with him, and I also didn't know she was dating him until she brought him to meet the family. One day, my CL called my wife, Sage, a 38-year-old female, and asked her to come with me home on the weekend because she had a surprise for us. I didn't expect such a call from her because we had never been so close. However, on the weekend, we went to my in-laws. Just before dinner, Julien came home and met all of us. I was surprised to see him there, but I didn't say anything. Instead, I met him cordially and told my in-laws that we had worked together 4 years ago. During dinner, Evelyn revealed that she and Julien had been dating for a year and announced that they were planning to get married soon. Honestly speaking, I didn't like this union, but I had to put on a happy face and congratulate them. After 3 months, they got married, and now my SIL is pregnant with their first child. I have been married to my wife for 13 years, and we have 2 kids together. I love to cook, but generally, we take turns cooking so that neither of us gets burned out or feels like it's a chore. This is especially helpful when we host others, because allergies are prevalent in both our families. However, when she was pregnant, I cooked for her all the time, because pregnancy was not easy for her, and I wanted her to be able to relax and enjoy food instead of being too tired and sick to eat, which is how she was in the very early stages of her first pregnancy. Everyone knew about it, but my sister-in-law expressed her disbelief that my wife was receiving a lot of attention and care from me during her pregnancy. She even seemed to find it surprising that a guy was doing that for his wife, and her constant remarks on this matter were irritating to me. So I asked her not to mention it again and again because I didn't like the remarks, as I felt like I was being called uxorious. She got offended and said that she would not mention it again. Now Evelyn is pregnant with her first child, and she called up out of the blue after her pregnancy announcement to say I should cook and send meals over for her, like I did for Sage. At first, I thought she was trying and failing to be funny. But nope, she was as serious as a heart attack. I clearly told her that I was not going to cook for her, and told her that it was very inappropriate to ask like that, and expressed my concern that she was demeaning me. She said she didn't mean that, and told me that we were family, and she is pregnant, and I should want her to rest as much as I had wanted Sage resting during both of her pregnancies. I found bother her request and argument weird, and told her that Sage is my wife, and I did all this for my children and my wife, and no one should expect the same from me. At the end, I told her that she had a chef husband who can cook for her if that was what she wanted. Instead of being ashamed, She told me her husband would never cook for her and asked me to become a good BIL. In response, I said BL doesn't equal spouse and then left for my home. After my refusal, Evelyn talked to Sage and asked her to convince me for cooking for her. My wife was surprised to hear such demand from her, as they had never been close, so my wife just rolled her eyes and told her where to go. After a week, we visited my in-laws. My SEL was already there, and she had told her parents that we both had refused to help her out, and that she was struggling and had just wanted help. They asked why I couldn't do it occasionally since Evelyn is too much of an ass to do it. I told them it was a lot to ask, and we weren't that close. When Evelyn realized her parents hadn't convinced me, or convinced Sage to convince me, she said I was an ass for not helping my family, and for rubbing her husband's lack of consideration for her in her face. I told her that I was not responsible for taking care of her or her husband babies. Initially, I thought she was asking me to cook for her on her own, but his persistent demands created a doubt in my mind that her husband might be behind all this, and that he might be trying to demean me by making me cook for her wife. When I investigated the matter deeply, a former employee of Julien, David, 21-year-old male, who was not happy with Julien's behavior, told me that he had overheard Julien talking to her wife on phone. He told me that Julien told his wife that he wanted to make me prove that I was just a cook, and traditional a trivial, and he was not only the owner of a restaurant, but a much superior chef, and that he wanted me to work for him. After learning this, I was shocked. Before that, I thought he was arrogant and ambitious professional, but this behavior of his proved that he is a very mean person. After learning the truth, I decided to confront him and went to his restaurant in the evening. When I met him, without going into details, I said, "I didn't expect such a shabby trick from you, Chef Julien." He seemed confused upon hearing this and asked me what I meant. I told him that he knew better than me what I meant. However, he claimed that he didn't know what I was talking about. I then explained the situation to him. He swore to GD that he didn't instruct his wife to ask me to cook for her, and he said he was unaware of his wife's request. He asked me to reveal who had told me all this. I told him that it was his former employee, David. He explained that he had fired David due to a conflict with another employee and believed that David was trying to defame him. Afterward, he invited me to have dinner with him, but I politely declined, and I called out to David and told him what Julien had said about him. Initially, he insisted that he was right, but in the end, he confessed that he had lied to me. As far as cooking for my SIL is concerned, I still believe that I am not responsible for cooking for her, but I could cook once or twice for her because she has been requesting me multiple times. So, AITA,